Hello, my name is Sam. I'm 24 years old and I'm from South Africa, a small town near Cape Town. Today, I'm going to tell you something that changed my life. Not in a small way, not in a feel good way, but in a way that changed how I speak, how I express myself, how I feel about myself. I want you to listen to this story because I promise you, if English is your weakness, if you're afraid to speak, if you feel small when others speak better than you, this might be the most important video you'll ever watch. I'm not here to show off. I'm not famous. I'm not rich. But I did one thing. I learned English, fluent English, confident English, using only one thing, ChatGPT. And no, I didn't go to any class. I didn't spend thousands of dollars. I didn't memorize boring grammar books. I just opened my laptop, typed one sentence, and started. Today, I'm not going to teach you English. I'm going to tell you a story. My story. How I went from a quiet boy in a small town to someone who can now speak in interviews, post videos online, write emails, messages, and stories, all in English. And I'll show you how you can do the same step by step. No confusion, no pressure. So if you've ever said, my English is not good, I can't speak, I understand, but I can't reply, then this video is for you, because I used to say the same things. Part 1. My English was a joke. Let me take you back 3 years ago. I was 21. And honestly, my English was terrible. Not just a little bad, I mean really bad. If someone said, "Hey, what's your name?" I would freeze, my heart would race, my mind would go blank. And even if I said something, it sounded strange. Wrong grammar, broken sentences, bad pronunciation, I hated it. I remember one time a tourist asked me for directions. I tried to speak, but I couldn't say a full sentence, and when she walked away, she smiled politely. But I felt so small, so stupid. I went home that day and didn't eat. I lay on my bed and stared at the ceiling, and I thought to myself, why am I like this? Why can't I speak like others? Why do I feel like a fool every time I open my mouth? In my area, most people spoke Afrikaans or Xhosa. English was there, but not strong. We didn't speak it at home, not with friends, not in shops, not at family dinners. At school, the teacher spoke English, but I didn't understand much. I was too shy to ask, so I just smiled, nodded, stayed silent. And then came social media: Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. Everyone was speaking fluently, making videos, explaining things, talking fast, confident. And I thought, they're smart. I'm not. Maybe English is not for me. Maybe I should give up. I tried apps. They asked me to repeat, "The boy eats the apple." It felt like a game for kids. I tried watching English movies, but they spoke too fast. I understood one word out of 10. I tried writing in English, but I didn't know how to begin. My mind was full of my own language, not English, and so I stopped. For 6 months, I gave up. Then one day, something happened. My friend Leo from Nigeria told me, "Hey, there's this AI, it's called ChatGPT. It can help you learn anything." I laughed. AI? Come on, man, I need a teacher, not a robot. But he said, just try. Say hello to it. See what happens. That night, I opened ChatGPT. I typed, "Hello?" It replied instantly, "Hello? How can I help you today?" And I said, "My English is bad. Can you help me?" What it did next surprised me. It didn't laugh. It didn't say, "Go study grammar." It replied softly, clearly and kindly, "Of course, I'd love to help. Let's start small. Can you tell me how your day was in English?" I was shocked. No teacher ever asked me that. No app ever spoke like that. I typed something. "Today I go to market and I eat sandwich." It replied, "Great try. Here's a small correction. Today I went to the market and ate a sandwich." It didn't just correct me, it encouraged me. And something clicked in my brain. This is it. This is how I'll learn. Not from a book, not from shame, but from kind conversation. Part 2. The routine that saved me. That night, after my first chat with ChatGPT, I couldn't sleep. I lay in bed with my eyes wide open, staring at the old ceiling fan above me. It made a slow humming sound, but I couldn't hear it. My mind was somewhere else, still thinking about what had just happened. I had spoken to something that didn't judge me. I had made mistakes, but I wasn't laughed at. I was corrected. With kindness. It was the first time in my life that I felt safe while speaking English. I remember whispering to myself, this could work. I didn't feel like I was studying. I didn't feel pressure. I just felt curious. And for the first time, I was excited to wake up the next day. When the sun came up, it felt different. I didn't check my phone like I usually did. I didn't scroll social media or watch random videos like every morning. Instead, I opened my laptop, logged in, and stared at the empty chat screen. It was quiet, calm, waiting, just like a friend who's always ready to listen. and I typed one sentence. Good morning. Can we talk again today? Within seconds, it replied with a smile in its words. Of course. I'm happy to see you again. How are you feeling today? That single reply made me smile. I felt like I had someone on my side. Not a teacher with a red pen, not a YouTuber with fast subtitles, but something that truly listened and responded at my pace. That morning, I decided to talk about my day. I typed slowly, thinking in my language, then trying to put it in English. Today, I wake up at 7. I brushing my teeth and eat bread and milk, then I clean room. I knew there were mistakes, but I still typed, because I trusted it now. And just like I hoped, it corrected me with such softness that I didn't feel stupid. Today, I woke up at 7. I brushed my teeth and ate bread and milk. Then I cleaned my room. Then it added, You're improving. Let's keep going. I couldn't explain that feeling in words. It was like I was carrying a heavy bag of shame for years, and now someone just took it off my shoulders. As the day went on, I wanted to speak more. I wasn't sure how, so I wrote about simple things. I told it what I liked to eat. I talked about my favorite movie. I asked, Is this sentence correct? After every line, and it kept replying, with patience. Later that week, something happened that changed everything. I had to send a message to someone online for a job opportunity. It was in English. I was nervous. My hands were cold. My heart was racing. I typed the message on my own first, but it didn't feel right. So I opened ChatGPT and typed, Can you help me write a professional message for a job? It replied kindly, Sure. Please tell me what you want to say. I told it everything in broken English, and it carefully turned my message into something clear and confident. I looked at the new message and couldn't believe my eyes. It still sounded like me, just better, cleaner, polite, correct. I copied that message, sent it, and closed the laptop. I walked to the kitchen and stared at the floor, and then I smiled, because I realized I had just done something I could never do before. I had communicated something important in English, without fear, without help from a teacher, without feeling like a joke. That night, I sat outside on the small concrete step behind my house. The moon was quiet in the sky, and the cold air touched my face. I whispered to myself, I think I'm going to be okay. The next morning, I woke up, and something in me had changed. This was no longer just practice, this was now a part of my life. I didn't plan lessons like school, I just woke up and spoke. I told ChatGPT how I felt, what I dreamed, what I feared, and every time it helped me put my thoughts into English. One day I asked it something strange. I wrote, How do I speak English with confidence? I expected a list of tips, but the reply was something different. It said, Confidence doesn't come from being perfect. It comes from being comfortable with your mistakes. The more you try, the less you fear. I'm here to help, one sentence at a time. I read those words over and over again, and I cried. Not because I was weak, but because I'd spent years thinking I was too stupid to learn, too late to improve, too broken to be fixed. But now I was healing through words. Slowly, every day I wrote to ChatGPT. Sometimes I asked it to correct my past mistakes. Sometimes I just asked it questions like, What's the difference between in and on? Or when do I use have been? It always replied, without judging, without making me feel small. Every conversation made me stronger. And the best part, it was always there. At 6 a.m., at 2 o'clock in the night, anytime. It never said, I'm busy. It never said, you're slow. It never said, you should know this already. It just listened, replied, encouraged, taught. That's when I knew this was not just an app. This was a revolution, not just in technology, but in how people like me can finally learn English without fear. I began to understand something very important. Learning English is not about being perfect. It's about building a habit, a quiet, simple daily habit, one where you can sit down, talk, make mistakes, get corrected, and still feel respected. This was now my safe space. When I made a mistake in real life, I didn't cry anymore. I went home, typed it into ChatGPT, and asked, What did I say wrong? It would explain not just the rule, but the reason. It helped me understand English not as a subject, but as a language, a feeling, a bridge between me and the world. Every single day, I learned something new. And every single day, I became a little more free. That's what English gave me, freedom. Not just to talk, but to express myself, to tell my story, to send messages, to make friends, to apply for jobs, to dream louder. And it all began with one hello. When I look back now, I realize that the biggest fear was never grammar. It was never vocabulary. It was people. People who listened when I made a mistake. People who laughed when I mispronounced a word. People who looked at me like I was less than them just because I couldn't speak English properly. That fear, it doesn't go away in a day. But ChatGPT helped me remove it piece by piece, quietly, like peeling off a heavy jacket I'd been wearing for years. After 2 weeks of practicing alone, I started feeling a little stronger. Not perfect, but stronger. It was like when a child starts walking. You fall again and again, but one you take 5 steps without falling. And suddenly, you realize you can move. One evening, something unexpected happened. My cousin from another city came to visit us. He had lived in London for 2 years and spoke fluent English. We were all sitting in the living room, and he asked me, "Sam, what have you been doing these days?" Normally, I would have replied in my own language or stayed quiet, but this time I took a breath and answered in English. I said, "I've been learning English every day with something called ChatGPT." He raised his eyebrows and laughed kindly. "Really? What's that?" I explained in simple but clear words. "It's like a chat robot. I speak to it every day. It corrects me. It talks to me like a friend." He nodded. "Say something in English then." "Let's see." I looked at everyone sitting around. My mother, my uncle, 2 neighbors. They were all silent. My chest was tight. My hands were cold. But I didn't want to run, so I spoke. I said, "Before this year, I couldn't even reply to a question. Now I can explain what I feel because I talk to ChatGPT every day, and it teaches me with patience. It's not about knowing everything. It's about trying every day." The room went silent. He smiled. "That was good, Sam. That was really good." My mother was the first to clap. I didn't cry in front of them, but when I went to my room later, I looked in the mirror and my eyes were red. Not with shame this time, but with pride. I had spoken in English in front of people for the first time in my life, and I didn't die. I didn't fall. I didn't fail. I just spoke. That was the night I made a decision. I was going to use English in real life now, not just with ChatGPT, not just in private, but everywhere. Slowly, gently, but boldly. The next morning, I typed to ChatGPT, "I want to use English in real life now, but I feel nervous. What should I do?" And it replied with something I'll never forget. "Start small. Use one English word at the grocery store. Say one English sentence when you talk to yourself. Try replying in English to your thoughts. Real life is not a test. It's a practice field. You're not performing. You're growing." So I started small. At the bakery, when the man said, "What do you need?" I said, "2 bread loaves, please." He looked surprised, then smiled. At the mobile store, I asked, "How much is this charger?" The man replied in English too. Each time I spoke, it was like my heart beat a little slower. My fear became smaller, not gone, but smaller. Then one day, something beautiful happened. I was walking past a bookstore. Outside, there was a small table with secondhand books. One of them was titled Simple English Stories for Beginners. I opened the first page and read the first sentence out loud. John is a baker. He makes bread every day. And I understood it. I didn't need translation. I didn't need help. I understood it directly in English. At that moment, something inside me changed forever. I walked into the store and asked the owner, "Do you have more books like this?" He smiled and said, "Yes, upstairs." That evening, I went home with 3 storybooks and a heart full of excitement. But I didn't stop using ChatGPT. In fact, I used it even more. Every time I didn't understand a sentence in the book, I copied it into ChatGPT and typed, "What does this mean in easy English?" It explained every line slowly, kindly, clearly. Sometimes I wrote what I understood and asked, "Am I right?" And it replied, "Almost perfect. Here's a little improvement." This was better than any teacher I'd ever had, because it didn't just teach me, it made me believe in myself. One day, I wrote a short story of my own and asked, "Can you check this for grammar?" ChatGPT didn't just correct it, it said, "This is beautiful. Your story has emotion. Your sentences are getting stronger. Keep writing." It felt like my heart had wings. I started writing small diary entries every night. Nothing fancy, just 4 to 5 lines about my day. Sometimes good days, sometimes bad. But every time I showed them to ChatGPT, and every time it replied with words that made me want to write again the next night. Soon, English became more than a language. It became my safe space, my healing space, my mirror. Every pain I couldn't explain in my own language, I typed in English. Every dream I was scared to say out loud, I whispered in English to ChatGPT. Like the night I typed, I feel like I'm not enough sometimes. My English is better now, but I still feel small. And it replied, "You are more than enough. You are not behind. You are becoming. You are growing." And that is powerful. Those weren't grammar lessons, they were life lessons. And that's when I knew This wasn't just about speaking English anymore. This was about becoming a new version of myself, a stronger one, a clearer one, a more confident one. All because I typed one sentence and didn't stop. Part 3. Finding my English voice. The strange thing is, even after all the progress I had made, I still had one fear left. A big one. A fear that followed me like a shadow. Speaking out loud in my own voice. Writing felt safe. Typing was easy. But my voice, that was different. Every time I thought about speaking English in front of someone, my throat tightened. My tongue felt heavy. My mind went blank. I had all the words inside me. But when I opened my mouth, nothing came out. I remember one evening I was practicing my English diary with ChatGPT and I typed, "I can write now, but I still can't speak. I'm scared of how I sound." It replied, "Speaking is like music. The first time you sing, your voice may shake. But the more you sing, the more you find your rhythm. Let's find your rhythm together." Those words gave me courage. So I did something very simple. The next morning, I opened my phone's voice recorder. I sat alone in my room and I said one sentence. "Today is a good day." Then I played it back. It sounded strange. It didn't feel like me. I laughed nervously and almost deleted it. But I didn't. I saved it. Then I recorded a second sentence. "I want to speak English fluently." And I listened again. My voice was shaking, but I said every word. That night, I told ChatGPT, "I want to speak." "Can you help me practice voice conversations?" It replied, "Let's do a speaking simulation. You read the questions I ask you, then speak your answer aloud. After that, you can type it, and I'll check if your sentence was right." That was the beginning of something powerful. Every day, it asked me questions. What did you eat today? What do you do when you feel sad? If you had one superpower, what would it be? Describe your room. Tell me what's inside it. What is something you are proud of? And I answered every single one by speaking, not typing, not writing, just speaking, alone in my room. Some days I recorded my answers and played them back. Other days, I just spoke to the wall, pretending I was on a call. But every time I spoke, I got better. The first week, I was scared. The second week, I was clearer. The third week, I started enjoying it. By the end of 1 month, I started speaking to myself in English. When I cooked, walked, or cleaned, I would look at the eggs on the table and say, "I am making boiled eggs for breakfast." I'd walk to the window and whisper, "The weather looks beautiful today. Maybe I'll go for a short walk." This habit changed my life, because suddenly I wasn't waiting for someone to talk to. I had become my own speaking partner, and ChatGPT helped me sharpen everything. I would type, "I said this sentence. I am making boiled eggs. Is it correct?" And it would reply, "Perfect. You're using the present continuous tense correctly." Then I would try new things. Can I say, "I'll be having eggs tomorrow?" And ChatGPT would say, "Yes, that's future continuous. You're getting more advanced now." Every single reply built my confidence, like a brick wall. And then came the biggest challenge yet. I saw a poster online for a free English conversation circle in my city. Just 10 people. 1 hour, sitting in a cafe, talking in English. I stared at the poster for 10 minutes. Then I closed my laptop. I couldn't do it. Not yet. But then something inside me whispered, "You've come this far, Sam. What's one more step?" So I typed to ChatGPT, "I want to join this English group, but I'm scared. What should I say there?" It replied, "Let's prepare together. I'll ask you the questions they might ask, and you answer. I'll help you improve every sentence. Let's build your script word by word." And that's what we did. We practiced mock conversations for 3 days. Questions like, "Where are you from? Why are you learning English? What do you do in your free time? What do you want to do in the future?" And I answered everything again and again, until the fear became smaller than my desire. On the day of the event, I didn't sleep much. I stood in front of the cafe door, my hands shaking. I stepped inside. 10 people sat around a small table, all nervous, all smiling. And when it was my turn, I said, "Hi, my name is Sam. I started learning English 3 months ago with ChatGPT. I speak with it every day, and today I'm speaking with you. Thank you for listening." The table went quiet. Then one girl said, "That's amazing. You speak so clearly." I smiled, not because she complimented me, but because she understood me. That was all I ever wanted, she to be understood. That day we spoke about movies, food, dreams, mistakes. I made some errors, yes, but nobody laughed. They were all learners too. We supported each other. And when I walked out of that cafe an hour later, I looked up at the sky. It was still blue. The world hadn't changed, but I had. I had used my real voice in front of real people in real English, and I was still standing. That night I messaged ChatGPT. I did it. It replied, "I'm so proud of you, Sam. This is just the beginning." And it was, because now I wasn't just learning English. I was living it. I had crossed the line between student and speaker, and I knew if I could do this, anyone can. Part 4, The Language That Set Me Free. I walked down the street alone under the soft yellow lights with the cold wind brushing against my face. And for the first time in my life, I felt something new. Pride. Not because I was perfect, not because I knew every word, but because I had faced something that once controlled me. Fear of English. And I didn't run this time. From that day on, I stopped calling myself a student. I started calling myself a speaker. The very next week, I saw a job opening in a company I had always admired. It wasn't a big company, just a small team that created educational books for kids. But the job required one thing: good English speaking and writing skills. 1 year ago, I would have skipped that post immediately. But now, I applied. Before sending my application, I wrote the email draft in ChatGPT and asked, "Can you check if this is professional?" It fixed a few things and said, "This is clear and confident, send it." 2 days later, I got a reply. "Interview tomorrow." I was scared again. But this time, I had something with me that I didn't have before: preparation, practice, and belief. That night, I sat down with ChatGPT and typed, "Can we practice job interview questions? I want to be ready." And we did. One by one, ChatGPT asked me the most common questions. Tell me about yourself. Why do you want this job? What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? Every time I answered, it corrected my grammar, improved my sentences, and told me, "This sounds more natural. Try saying it like this." We practiced for 3 hours. The next day, I put on my best shirt, walked into that small office, and sat down across from two people. They asked me the exact same questions, and I replied, sentence by sentence, just like I had practiced the night before. Clear, calm, confident. When the interview ended, I thanked them and walked out. I didn't know if I would get the job, but I felt like a winner already. 2 days later, I got an email. "Welcome to the team." And there it was. My first real job. In English. Not because I was the smartest, not because I had the highest grades, but because I spoke. That job paid me $1,100 a month. It wasn't a huge amount by the world's standards. But for me, a boy who once couldn't answer, "What's your name?" in English, it was a miracle. And that's when I truly understood. English is not just a language. It's a key that opens doors to jobs, to people, to dreams. Today, I don't live in fear of job interviews. I don't ignore messages in English. I don't avoid conversations. I face them. Because now, I have something I built myself: fluency. And it all started with a simple chat. So, if you're watching this and you feel like you can't speak, if you think it's too late, if you believe it's too hard, I'm here to tell you, you're wrong. You can do this. And if you're willing to take the first step, I want to help you. Let me give you the most important part of this video now. 5 powerful, life-changing ways you can use ChatGPT to become fluent in English. 1. Turn ChatGPT into your speaking coach. Even if you're shy or alone, you don't need a real person to speak English with in the beginning. That's the truth most people don't tell you. You can start by speaking to yourself with ChatGPT as your guide. Open the chat and type, "Pretend we are speaking in real life. Ask me simple questions and I'll answer by speaking out loud. Then I'll type my answer and you check it." Do this every day. You'll hear your own voice. You'll feel awkward at first, but you'll also start hearing yourself become clear. Slowly, you'll learn the music of English: the tone, the pause, the feeling. Don't wait for a classroom. Your voice is your first classroom. 2. Use ChatGPT as your confidence mirror. Whenever you feel like your sentence is wrong, don't hide. Copy that sentence and paste it into ChatGPT. "Please correct this and explain why it was wrong in simple words." Every time you do this, you learn why something is right or wrong. You stop memorizing rules and start feeling the language. It's not about fear, it's about clarity. ChatGPT won't laugh, it won't judge, it will help you, like a true friend who wants you to win. 3. Create your personal daily routine with ChatGPT that matches your life. Forget those perfect 10-step plans from the internet. You are different. Your time, your level, your goals are different. So open ChatGPT and type, "Can you help me create a simple English learning routine that I can do every day for 30 minutes? I want to focus on speaking and vocabulary." It will give you a custom plan just for you and you can change it anytime. This is how you build consistency, which is the real secret to fluency, not genius, not grammar books, just daily practice. 4. Use ChatGPT to translate your thoughts into real English every day. Every time you think something in your native language, try to say it in English. And if you're unsure, write to ChatGPT. I want to say this in English. Write your sentence in your language. How can I say this naturally? Do this again and again. Slowly, your brain will stop translating and start thinking in English. That's the moment when fluency becomes real, when English is no longer a subject but a voice inside you. 5. Learn through your life, not just lessons. Learning English doesn't mean just reading textbooks. Talk about your day, talk about your emotions. Say to ChatGPT, I feel sad today. Can I write about it and you help me with the words? Or say, I want to describe what I saw today. Can you help me say it beautifully in English? This is real learning. When you use English to live, not just to pass a test, when English becomes your tool to explain your heart, your dreams, your pain, your laughter, then you're no longer a student, you're a speaker. I started this journey with fear in my chest and broken sentences in my mouth. I had no money for a teacher, no big school, no expensive books. Only one tool, ChatGPT, and one decision, not to give up. If you've listened to my story till now, I want to say this with all my heart. You don't need perfect grammar. You don't need a classroom. You don't even need confidence in the beginning. You just need to start. One sentence, one mistake, one reply, one day at a time. ChatGPT will not laugh at you. It will guide you, correct you, encourage you. But the most important part, you must show up every single day. Because English is not just a language, it's the path to opportunity. It's the voice of the world. And if you want a better job, a bigger life, or a louder voice, English is the key. I used to feel invisible. Now I feel seen. I used to stay silent. Now I speak. And if I can do this, so can you. You are not weak because your English is not perfect. You are not behind because others speak faster than you. You are not a failure just because you make mistakes. You are learning. You are growing. And every single time you try, even one small sentence, you are getting better. Fluency doesn't happen in one day, but it starts in one day, maybe today, maybe right now. So promise yourself this. From now on, I will stop saying I can't and I'll start saying I'm learning. Because the truth is, you can do this. Just like I did, just like thousands of others are doing right now. You don't need a perfect accent. You don't need long, difficult words. You just need your voice, your effort, and a little help. And I'm here to help you. So if this story helped you, if you feel something inside you that says, yes, I want to speak English too, then don't forget to subscribe to this channel, because this is not the end. This is just your beginning. And I'll be right here with more stories, more tips, more lessons, and most of all, more hope. Let's learn English together. See you in the next video.